I've spent 20 years mastering how to talk to a camera, from television news to social media to video production. And I have discovered that it all comes down to a very simple system that separates the pros from the amateurs. Here's what people don't realize. Even the most natural, most professional looking people on camera are using a system of a few simple techniques that anybody can learn. Even you. And no, you don't have to spend 20 years learning this. In fact, I'm going to break it all down for you right here. So today I'm taking the 4P system that I've refined over the course of my entire broadcasting career and showing you how you can integrate it in your own talking head videos without sounding like a news reporter or like you're faking it or like maybe it's an AI version of you. Welcome to Camera Confident. If you're new here, I'm Shirley. I'm a video and visibility coach. I used to be a TV reporter, and now I help entrepreneurs develop that magnetic on-camera presence that attracts clients to them, makes them more money, and ultimately establishes them as the go-to authority in their niche. I'm all about helping you become a better storyteller on video. And your voice, which is what we're going to concentrate on in this video, in this episode, that is what is going to separate you from everybody else out there who's talking about the same thing. If you've ever Googled how to talk to a camera, how to look more confident on camera, or maybe you're confident already, but you just want to be more magnetic on camera, you want to come across as that like celebrity style authority that you really are in your niche, you may have realized that they don't tell you exactly how to talk. There's lots of advice out there, including from me and other videos where I talk about the importance of eye contact, of body language, all the things that you do on video to really capture people's attention, captivate them, and keep them watching. But the most important tool that you have at your disposal is your voice. So this 4Ps system is going to be a complete game changer for you. And it's so easy to remember and easy to put in place because I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that. And the last P is a game changer. So you'll want to stick around till the end so you can see exactly how you can use that last one to make all of them way more effective. Mastering this 4P system is going to take your videos from meh to magnetic. I'm not talking about those quick reels that, are a couple seconds of you doing something with text on them. I'm talking about YouTube videos where you come on and speak for a long time because you can't rely on fancy graphics and edits and great hooks alone. You have to come out there and talk for a period of time and keep people interested, keep people watching. And there are a few really, really important things you need to know about doing that regardless of what you're actually saying. There's a way to say it so that people sit up and listen. Each element of the 4Ps system helps you put together a complete transformation in how you communicate your business value and how you connect with your audience. So let's get into the first one, which immediately establishes you as an authority. This separates the high converting business videos from all the amateur content out there. And the first P is projection. And by projection, I don't mean yelling at the camera, because a lot of people think to sound authoritative, they have to raise the volume of their voice. And that makes them sound like they're trying too hard or like you got to turn the volume down because who wants to be yelled at? Projection comes from the diaphragm. A lot of people speak from up here, right? People who are like trying to sing and aren't very good at it, they always tell you sing from the diaphragm. So while you're watching this video, try to take a deep breath from up here, right? And then you're speaking like this. Or if you think about breathing from your belly, so take a deep breath and let your belly expand. And then you speak from that place. So do you see the difference in my voice there? I'm projecting my voice. I'm not speaking louder. I'm speaking with authority from my diaphragm. So I'm not kind of stuck up here when I talk. Pause the video and try that. Let me know in the comments if that made a difference. Think about you speaking to the camera as an exchange of energy. You are releasing energy from the diaphragm. And instead of talking to the lens, so when I say project, don't aim your voice at the lens. Picture someone you actually know sitting 10 feet behind the camera and project your voice, project your energy towards that person. Again, that doesn't mean yelling. It just means projecting beyond the camera. So you're talking through the camera to someone else rather than talking to this lens, which feels so unnatural, right? One of the reasons this projection thing works so well is because the camera just naturally sucks out some of your energy. You often hear people say, oh, the camera adds 10 pounds, but the camera, and I don't know if that's true, by the way, but the camera also sucks like 20% of your energy out. So if you feel like you're talking to the camera at your normal voice, this is how I normally talk to people. And this might sound a lot flatter than I usually do. But when I project from my stomach, from my diaphragm, like I just showed you, do you see how I sat up straighter, my shoulders rolled back a bit more, and I commanded more authority. I took up more space and my energy increased. So I want you to like pump things up like 20% more than feels natural to you. And while that might feel like you're like overdoing it, through the camera, you are losing a little bit of that energy. So you do have to kick it up a notch or two, or 20. I've seen clients improve their engagement with social media content just by implementing that one technique. But projection alone is not enough. You do need this second element to really take things from, okay, this person, is obviously taking up the space in a room, but you could project a lack of confidence or maybe some insecurity and you don't even realize it if you're not doing this next thing properly. And that is pitch. The pitch of your voice is really important. Now, some people just naturally have a higher pitch to their voice. So I'm not suggesting you like deepen your voice artificially because that's going to seem weird and inauthentic, but you do have to watch the pitch of your voice as you're talking as well. So this obviously goes beyond just, the pitch of your voice. You can actually play with pitch while you're talking to deliver different effects and emphasize certain words and have the person who's watching really be directed to pay attention at certain points. And the way that you do that is you vary the pitch of your voice according to what you're saying. One of the ways I like to teach this is if you're writing a script, and if you've been following me, you know I don't love people reading verbatim from a script. But to learn this technique and to really master this, you can practice using a script. And what you do is you find 3 to 5 words in each sentence that you feel are the most important words. Do you see what I just did there? Most important words. And what I do is I write those words in capital letters because it's a signal for me to know when to raise or lower the pitch of my voice. So let's say I wanted to emphasize the word hook. I would capitalize that word and then I would deliver it like this. You're really going to want to make sure you have the right hook. Do you see how my pitch went up there? So varying the pitch of your voice depending on which words you're saying and where you want to emphasize, where you want to draw attention, see, I just did it again, to those specific words is going to make a difference. This is really what separates people who speak in a monotone like this, where every single word sounds exactly the same, to people who speak in a monotone like this, which basically just makes all the words sound the same. So go ahead and try that one. Let me know in the comments if this one helped you. But projection and pitch are only part of the equation. So let's go on to number 3. And we're moving through these pretty fast, so hope you're keeping up. If you've mastered the projection and the pitch, and I know it takes practice, you're like 90% there. You're already doing way better than most business owners out there who don't have training on how to talk to a camera. So let's talk about number 3. And this one is so important and also can create some discomfort, both for you and for the other person. Are you ready? See, I just did it. It's called pauses. You have to pause at very important, critical times in your delivery because you need to understand when there is something that you're saying that you want to just give some space to land. See what I did there? I'm not talking about, pausing for lots and lots of time. And we know that every second is so precious, especially on social media. So don't make it too long. But you do want to pause at specific moments that ideally you plan in advance because that allows for dramatic effect. It allows for you to punctuate a point. It allows for people to really let what you say sink in. Maybe you want to ask a question And you're not giving people enough time to like fully answer it, but they know you've cued them that they have to pause and think about that for a second. So this is really important. Pauses don't only happen at the end of a sentence. Sometimes they happen in the middle, right? For emphasis. And this is something you can use if you're speaking on stage as well. Pausing is so incredibly powerful, and it can make some people feel uncomfortable because silence creates discomfort. When I was a journalist and I was interviewing people, sometimes if I really wanted them to get to a certain point, they would stop talking and I wouldn't ask the question right away. I wouldn't ask another question. I would just let them kind of sit in that discomfort. And you know what people do? They rush to fill the silence. And that is often when you get the best stuff. But that's a whole other insider tip that I didn't exactly plan on putting in this video. There you go. Not all pauses are created equal. So I want to give you 3 different pauses you can use when you're delivering your videos, whether it's social media, webinar, pitch, whatever it is. Try these 3 different types of pauses in your content. The first one is an authority pause. This is when you stop talking for 1 to 2 seconds before you're about to deliver a really important piece of information, a statistic, something about business, like you're letting people anticipate the next thing you're going to say. And I've done that a few times in this video if you haven't already noticed. The second one is a value pause. This is what you share after you share that important piece of information. Now, you don't have to do both of these, like pause before and pause after. You can kind of play with the words and see what sounds better, what feels better. But this is when you're giving the viewer or the listener a chance to just let that sink in. And you can even say that, let that sink in, and pause, right? And the third one, in more of a business context, is a decision-making pause. So this is where, let's say you're saying the price of a program or going for that direct call to action. You can pause afterwards instead of looking like you're rushing to the next thing you're saying, because that makes you seem insecure. So you might say, I have this program, it's this price. And you can pause to let that sink in. Now, that was a very simplistic way of showing that to you, but if you apply that to your own offers, you can see how pausing throughout your pitches is going to make you sound way more confident in what you're offering, even if deep down, maybe there's a little bit of butterflies as you're trying to present your offer. All right, so you've got 3, right? You've got projection, pitch, pauses. Now let's go to the 4th and final P of the 4P system that is going to make or break all of your video content. And that is pacing. One of the biggest things about pauses is it forces you to slow down. Because a lot of people, whether they're confident on camera or they're not confident talking to a camera, they tend to speak faster, right? And this is something that no matter how long you've been doing this, you can get caught in this trap. You speak quickly. So if you force yourself to pause, you are naturally slowing down. The great irony is that when you speak faster, you actually seem less credible because it looks like A, you're just trying to hide something, or you're not comfortable with your own content, or you just don't appear confident and comfortable when you speak quickly. So slowing down to take pauses is so important. But pacing is also equally important because sometimes you're going to want to speed up to slow down. And this is such a great way to captivate an audience because you're playing with speed. You're not just pausing, but then speaking at the same pace throughout. There may be times that you want to speed up what you're saying. Like, let's say you're telling a story and something is very stressful, or then I went here and then I did this and then you slow down. But if you just said, then I went here, then I did this, and then I slowed down. Do you see how that's a completely different type of delivery? It lands differently and also doesn't even really land in the same way. So again, this is one of those techniques that applies equally to video and to stage. But if you vary the pacing of how you speak, you are really going to captivate an audience because they're going to hang on your every word. And as you can hear me delivering this video, which I haven't memorized, by the way, this is all just me talking, riffing off the camera, you really get a sense of how this type of talking, of making sure that you project, that you vary your pitch, that you pause, and that you pace your videos correctly. And you see how I slowed down there? Playing with these 4 variables is going to make you an incredibly effective speaker. And I know it's not all going to come right away, but these 4 techniques, the 4 Ps that I just showed you, are really going to be the difference between that video that really captivates and converts a client and the video that's just you talking at someone, because we don't want you talking at someone. Bringing all these 4 Ps together is going to maximize your business impact. Proper projection, strategic pitch variation, well-timed pauses, and intentional pacing. That's how you create what your prospects perceive as an authentic, engaging experience, and you will come across as the go-to authority that I know you already are. So I hope this 4Ps system was helpful. I would love to know in the comments, are you gonna try it? Did you try it? How did it work out for you? And just generally, let me know how you did. Tag me, let me see a video. I would love to see a video that you have used these techniques, that you've incorporated these techniques. And then I'll give you feedback. I really want this to be an interactive experience. And if you still feel like you're awkward on camera or like you just want to get out of your shell a little more, I recommend you check out this video where I dive a lot deeper into that subject.